For about 30 years, a mysterious cabin stayed locked deep in the woods. It was built by Michael Landon as a private retreat, but after his death, no one had gone inside. People in the area talked about it for years. The windows were covered with vines, and the door stayed tightly shut. Then, one day, someone finally found the key and opened it. What they saw inside shocked everyone. The cabin was full of personal items, letters, and something that revealed a dark secret Landon had kept hidden. It was clear he never wanted anyone to find these things. Michael Landon was born on October 31, 1936, in Forest Hills, Queens. His real name was Eugene Maurice Orowitz. His father was a Jewish-American actor, and his mother was an Irish Catholic dancer. Their marriage was full of arguments, often caused by religious differences. Eugene had an older sister named Evelyn. In 1941, the family moved to Collingswood, New Jersey, where Eugene spent most of his childhood. Although Eugene had a very high IQ, school was difficult for him. He was often bullied by classmates and misunderstood by teachers. The town was also very unwelcoming toward Jewish people, which made things worse. Every Wednesday, the Christian kids would go to church, and Eugene was forced to stay behind at school alone, cleaning blackboards. He often wondered why he was treated differently. That feeling of being unwanted never left him. Things at home were no better. His mother had serious mental health problems and tried to take her own life many times. Eugene witnessed terrifying moments, including one when she walked into the ocean during a beach trip to drown herself. Eugene, still a child, ran in after her. The water was crashing around him, and in desperation, he hit her to make her come back. She acted like it never happened, but Eugene threw up from fear afterward. These scary events happened more than once, and Eugene called it suicide drama. He never felt safe in his own home. He also had a medical condition that caused him to wet the bed, but his mother thought he was just lazy. To punish him, she hung his wet sheets outside the window for the entire neighborhood to see. The school bus stopped right in front of their house, so all his classmates saw the sheets and laughed. It was deeply embarrassing. Eugene would try to wake up early, grab the sheets, and take them to the laundromat before anyone noticed, even trying to break in when it was closed. One time, his mother even sent him to a sleepover to test if he would wet the bed. If he did, it would be shameful. If he didn't, she'd say he was lying about it at home. He felt like he could never win. Years later, he made a movie about this called The Loneliest Runner, as a way to tell the truth about his painful childhood. Despite all the suffering, he found comfort in sports. He was especially good at throwing the javelin. In high school, he threw the javelin farther than anyone else in the country. His amazing throws earned him a scholarship to the University of Southern California, and he dreamed of going to the Olympics. He believed his strength came from his long hair, like the story of Samson in the Bible. But his teammates thought it was silly and cut his hair as a joke. After that, his throws became weaker. He pushed himself too hard to improve and ended up tearing ligaments in his shoulder, ending his athletic career and his college plans. Now lost again, Eugene took small jobs to get by, selling blankets, stocking shelves, and unloading trucks. One day, a coworker asked him to help read lines for an acting audition. Eugene read them so well that he impressed a talent scout. But there was a problem. His last name sounded too Jewish, which he feared might hurt his chances in Hollywood. So, he looked through a phone book and found the name Michael Landon. That's how Eugene Maurice Orowitz became Michael Landon. Only 4 months after the name change, he got his first acting job. Then, in 1957, he starred in a low-budget horror film called I Was a Teenage Werewolf. It was about a troubled teenager who turns into a werewolf. The film was very unusual at the time, but it became a huge hit, making millions on a tiny budget. His powerful performance caught the attention of people in Hollywood. In 1959, Landon starred in The Legend of Tom Dooley, a western based on a folk song. That same year, he was offered a role in a new TV series, originally called The Restless Gun, which later became Bonanza. He was cast as Little Joe Cartwright, the youngest of 3 brothers. When the show aired on September 12, 1959, It was the first Western filmed entirely in color. At the time, most people still had black and white TVs, but NBC hoped the colorful landscapes would encourage people to upgrade. It worked, and soon Bonanza became a massive hit. The show quickly climbed the ratings. In its first year it wasn't very popular, but by the second season, it was in the top 20, and by the third, it was number 2. By the sixth season, it was number 1 with over 19 million viewers each week. At one point, nearly 60% of Americans watching TV were watching Bonanza. Competing networks tried to keep up, but nothing came close. The show remained in the top 10 for 11 years. Behind the scenes, the cast got along well. Lorne Greene, who played Ben Cartwright, became a father figure to Landon and Dan Blocker, who played Hoss. They were so close that they even bought beachfront property together. Landon's growing popularity gave him more control over the show. By 1962, at just 25 years old, he wrote his first script. It was harder than he expected and took him 2 days to finish. He was so drained that he didn't write another one for 3 years. But eventually, he embraced writing and directing. In 1968, at only 31, Landon became a director. Now he was acting, writing, and directing, essentially shaping the entire show. He brought many of the same team members with him when he later created Little House on the Prairie and Highway to Heaven. He wasn't just an actor, he was a storyteller, fully involved in every part of production. Then in 1972, tragedy struck. Dan Blocker died suddenly after gallbladder surgery. He was only 43. His death devastated everyone, especially Landon and Greene. They had worked together for 13 years and truly felt like family. Greene thought the show should have ended then, but NBC decided to keep going. Landon had to quickly rewrite an episode that was originally meant to be Hoss's wedding. Instead, it became a heartbreaking story about little Joe losing his wife and seeking justice. The episode included quiet tributes to Blocker. In 1956, Michael Landon married his first wife, Dodie Levy Fraser. She already had a son, Mark, whom Landon adopted, and they later adopted another boy, Josh. Landon loved being a father, but his ambition often came first. That drive, combined with the pressure of Hollywood and his growing success, strained the marriage. By 1962, it ended in divorce. Just a year later, he met and married Lynn No. They had 4 children together: Leslie, Michael Jr., Shauna, and Christopher. Landon also adopted Lynn's daughter from a previous relationship, Cheryl. On the surface, they seemed like the perfect Hollywood family. They appeared in magazines, posed for family portraits, and even filmed commercials together. But the truth was more complicated. Landon's work consumed him. His emotional baggage, perfectionism, and increasing fame put enormous stress on the marriage. Then came Cindy Clerico, a makeup artist on Little House on the Prairie. She was 20 years his junior. Their affair began quietly but soon became impossible to hide. When the truth came out, it devastated his family. Melissa Gilbert, who had looked up to Landon as a second father, said it was like losing her own dad all over again. Lynn and Michael divorced in 1982 after 19 years together. He married Cindy the following year. Despite the controversy, they remained together until his death and had 2 children, Jennifer and Sean. In time, Landon's older children came to accept the new family, though the pain of the split never fully left them. By the late 1980s, Landon seemed to be entering a new phase of life. His hit show Highway to Heaven had ended, and he was planning a new series, Us, about a wrongly imprisoned man starting over. But just as filming began, Landon got terrible news. In April 1991, he was diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer. The disease had already spread to his liver. He was only 54. Landon chose to face the illness publicly. He went on The Tonight Show, smiling bravely as he talked to Johnny Carson. He asked for privacy, yes, but also understanding. "If I'm gonna die," he said, "death's gonna have to do a lot of fighting to get me." Fans sent letters. Strangers sent prayers. But just 3 months later, on July 1, 1991, Michael Landon died at his Malibu home, surrounded by family. His final words, spoken to his wife Cindy, were, "I love you."